Okay. Hi, everyone. It's good to see you again. Mhm. So, before we dive in today, I'm just going to remind everyone quickly about confidentiality. So, what's said in this group stays in this group. So, that just means that we don't share anyone's names, stories outside of this group. We just really want to be respectful. So, that means outside of the recording, please don't use your personal devices to record, screenshot anything during the session.
So the whole point is for you guys to feel comfortable. If there's something that you guys don't want to share or that it's too private, it's okay. You don't have to share anything. In reality, if you don't want to share anything, you don't have to. We would rather you do so that we have like this sort of interaction between us and get to know each other a little bit better and build this trust. But if you will rather stay silent, feel free to do it.
Mhm. So quickly, I'm just gonna give you guys a real quick recap reminder what we're gonna be covering today. So last week we did talk about noticing our automatic thoughts. So those are the quick reactions that can make stress feel worse. And so today we're gonna be taking it one step further. So we're gonna start looking back at some of those moments that we did during the homework. And then we're going to practice like real ways to cope with it. That way, we're kind of prepared for when those situations arise again. So, really quickly, I'm just going to share my screen so that you guys can see the homework from last week, just in case you guys need a reminder of what it looks like. Just have it on hand because we are going to be using it today for our icebreaker and for our main activity. Mm-mm-mm. And oh no. Okay, there we go. So, okay, so before we start, again, just have your thought record ready. And for this part, we're just gonna bring up one situation from our thought record that kind of stuck with you that you think that might be a reoccurring thing. That way we can kind of focus on it, and then the next time that it comes up, we're kind of prepared to how to handle it. So, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna open up a whiteboard. Mm-mm-mm. Perfect. So just be careful when you draw. So what we're gonna do is everyone is going to draw, write one situation of what happened in their thought journal. So write that intrusive thought. You can draw it, make a picture of it, whatever you feel most comfortable with. We're gonna take about 3 to 4 minutes to do this. Just try not to overlap on somebody's. But what I'm gonna ask you all to do is just turn off your camera, give you 3 to 4 minutes to do so, and then whenever you're done, just turn on your camera. That way we know when everyone's finished. Mm-mm-mm.
Hey Jennifer, sorry, quick question. Are we doing right now just a situation or do we fill out the whole thought record?
Sorry, not the thought record. So the homework that we did that you're supposed to fill out over the week, we're gonna pull one of those intrusive thoughts out and just write them out on here. And then later we're gonna reflect on it. So we're just gonna kind of invite what we wrote down.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay, it looks like mostly everyone is done. Ruth, are you still working on yours a little bit?
I finished. It's that one right there where it says again and top.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so just go ahead and turn on your camera and then we'll go into the rest of our little icebreaker. And I love the little drawings. You guys did so good. They're so cute. Okay. So now that everyone's finished, we're gonna go ahead and share what you came up with. So just give us like a quick little summary of what you drew and what you wrote regarding your thought journal and what your automatic thought was. So just try to keep it short for now because our main activity is going to be really delving into that homework. So you guys can really go ahead and popcorn here. So whoever wants to start. I'll pick names.
Okay, here, I'll start. I'll be
Yay!
So my drawing was this one, the one that has like a square, a triangle, a circle, and like a little star,
Mhm.
or what it looks like a star. So my thought process was that I'm a mess, and I described it with little different figures because it's messy, I guess, in my head. So my thoughts are messy. So my automatic thought was like, okay, I'm a mess because I can't get everything in order. That was me.
Oh, Diana, thank you for sharing. And honestly, that is probably how a lot of us feel a lot of the time. And it's really big for you to recognize that that is one of your automatic thoughts. Um, so I will go next. Mine is, I don't know where my little cat went, but it was here. So I did have to go ahead and put my cat to sleep yesterday, which was very hard. And one of my automatic thoughts was, I'm a bad parent. I am just a bad cat mom. And it really was challenging for me to recognize that that is not 100% true and it doesn't define me. But that was something that happened. That was an automatic thought that I recognized that I had. Does anyone else want to go?
I'll go.
Mm.
So, I went with my sample from last week, because it did actually happen and it's actually been on my mind. That my supervisor emailed me asking if we could talk, if he could give me a call. And my thought is I must have done something wrong. And he still hasn't called me, so I'm still stressing out about it. Yeah.
Oh, Edgar, thank you for sharing. And that's a very long time for you to wait for a response. I can see how that would be weighing on your mind, but it's good for you to recognize that that's not necessarily what's going to happen, but you're kind of preparing yourself for there's multiple options. So that's good that you recognize that. Anyone else?
Yeah, I can go next.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Mine's like the top left corner where the little stick figure person, frowny face, says, I'm lazy, others are better than me. Just one of those situations where got super stressed with everything I have to do with school and with work, with the future, and it made me like not do anything. And
Mm-hmm.
because of that, I just automatically thought like I'm so lazy. Other people are like doing so much more than me and are better than me. And that was like first thing that came to my mind.
Matthew, thank you for sharing. But just so that you know, you are doing so many things, and it sounds like you're working really hard. And then you even took the time to come here and show up and log in, and even that is effort. It's effort, and that's all. That's really where you really start. So you know you're not lazy. Okay, so let's see who else wants to go.
I'll go next.
Um, oh, you can go, Ruth.
Okay. Mine's is down right there with the word again. That's because I have been getting so many car troubles. And so I can't seem to, save any money. So I had to spend quite a chunk just fixing it. So I was like, why me? Why does this always happen to me? Um, so that's why I drew that little face there. Um,
Mhm. Well, you're a very good artist. I like it. And Ruth, I get it. It's very easy when things just mount up on you for you to be like, it's all me. But it's good for you to recognize that everybody gets those feelings. I'm sure everyone in this room has probably had that kind of feeling before where everything's just piling up and you're like, oh gosh, it's me. But it's good for you to recognize that and just, you have, again, beautiful, beautiful little drawing. I love it. Thank you for sharing, Ruth. Okay, who do we have left?
I can go. Mine is the like girl with the thought bubble.
Hmm.
Um, Long story short, I had some like workplace conflict, and my like automatic thought was like everyone else sees me as insignificant, which in turn makes me feel small. So that's why like I'm tiny in the thought bubble. Especially like as a woman working with men. So I just kind of get very, I don't know if defensive is the right word, but like defensive, but in my own head. So
Thank you, Maddie. And your drawing is very cute too. But that's good. And I'm noticing like a reoccurring theme that everyone's kind of we're getting in our own head sometimes. And, it could be true, it could not be true, but recognizing that you need to explore different options is important. So that's good, Maddie. Thank you. And then Carissa and Tesnim. I think you guys are the only ones that haven't shared. Do you guys feel comfortable sharing, or would you guys prefer not to?
I think I didn't draw anything because I just feel um probably I feel a little overwhelmed
Mm.
where I'm just thinking about a lot of things. So I really couldn't pinpoint it. So that's why I couldn't draw anything. But I think I can feel what everybody was saying. So maybe all of y'all's drawings are my drawings.
Oh, I love that. And exactly what we're saying. Sometimes we all feel isolated, but it's definitely something that we can all relate to at some point in our lives or another. So thank you. Thank you, Carissa. That was very sweet. Thank you for sharing. And then Tasneem, would you like to share?
I put the I'm not as organized as other coworkers quote because
Mm,
I feel like sometimes I don't know, sometimes I feel like I have so many papers
hmm
and then I just don't know where I put them. But then like I tell myself I'll put it here and I won't forget, but then I don't know. I don't know where I put it, but then I end up finding it like 2, 3 weeks later, but not when I need it. So yeah, so sometimes I feel like I remember the things other people don't. And then the things that I need to remember, I don't remember. So then in my mind, I'm just like, oh, why? Like, like in my mind, I like compare, like, oh, I wish I was like more organized, like other coworkers. So yeah.
Well, that takes a lot of self-reflection. So thank you for sharing that. Mm-mm.
Okay, well, it sounds like there were some strong emotions this week for everyone, right? Like we all went through our little situations, either at work or at home or just in our own head. And honestly, I'm pretty proud of you for noticing those thought patterns and catching those thinking traps. Because catching them is the first step, right? But that leads us right into what we're focusing on today. So taking those new balanced thoughts and coping skills and actually putting them into action.
Yeah, so sure my mic is on. So right now we're gonna take a look at one of those stressful situations. So if you didn't write one and you wanna just take what you said here, you are more than welcome to do so, or you can pick a different situation. I think it'd be a little easier for everyone if we stuck to the same one, but feel free to change it up if you'd like to. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to do some breakaway rooms. So each person will take their situation that they're wanting to share, and the other party will act as a supporting friend or a counselor. Now, you don't necessarily have to role play. If it feels too weird for you, you guys, you can just talk it through. But the main goal for this is just to reflect on what happened, and then recognize those automatic thoughts that we have, like little intrusive thoughts that get in our head. And then just think and talk through maybe what you could have done differently or what you could do differently the next time that a situation like this comes again, especially if it's like a chronic issue that we're dealing with. Um, so the way that it's gonna work is we're gonna have, I guess, three teams of two. So you're gonna be in your own private little breakaway room. We're gonna set you guys aside for 14 minutes. So each person has like 7 minutes to role play or talk through their situation, their thought, and then what they could do differently. So we're gonna keep you guys in there for 14 minutes. So you guys are just responsible for managing that time and splitting it appropriately. But yeah, so the main goal is to just think about anything that might have helped, right? So that's if you're in front of the situation that made you stressful, walking away, or if you're alone, putting on music, taking a deep breath, prayer, something that would have helped you ground yourself in the moment that you felt this stress. So it doesn't have to be anything huge, just something that could have shifted how you responded. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and do that again. When we close the rooms, it's gonna give you like a 60-second timer. So whenever you see that, just get ready to be automatically put back into your rooms. So you guys just give me one quick second. And I also just wanted to mention that me and Diana are going to be popping into the rooms. We would prefer for you guys to keep your cameras on. We're going to keep our cameras off just to not make you feel awkward or anything. So, if we pop in, don't mind us. We're just like a little fly on the wall, okay? Mm-mm-mm. Okay, and then we will
You
call.
write down the like maybe like a bullet point list of what you said on the chat, just so we don't forget.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I will do that. So I'm gonna send you guys out to your own rooms and then I will actually probably just paste it into your chats privately. Okay. Okay. Diana, can you help me? So I'm kind of stuck on this page. So are you able to kind of text that into the groups for me?
Into the groups.
Yeah, just like type it into their little chat in their breakaway rooms. I'm gonna join. Oh, you're not able to, are you able to join them?
No, I'm not. But I mean, I could send the group chat like to
Please.
just like everyone. Is that
Yes.
fine?
Yes, that would work perfect. Thank you so much.
Role playing a stressful situation.
Mm-hmm.
While the other person provides like a coping skill. That's
So what they're doing is taking their thought journal,
Mhm.
recognizing their automatic thought, and finding a coping mechanism that would have helped them during that stressful situation.
Playing the homework, basically. I'm trying to
Yeah.
make it simple. Role
I
playing
know, yeah. So I'm like,
stressful situation, recognizing the automatic thought, and finding a good coping.
coping mechanism slash challenging it, I guess that would work.
Okay.
Thank you. And then I'm just gonna join. I guess you can say here, and then I'm gonna just join the groups because that way they can get recorded.
I send it?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, awesome.
It's
Okay.
in here, it's in this chat, right? On the Zoom chat?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, and then I'm gonna set a 14-minute timer and then I'm gonna hop in and out. Set timer for 14 minutes.
14 minutes, counting down.
Mm-mm-mm.
So I haven't really, so I haven't really heard back in that time. And I guess my emotions would be anxiety and stress associated with it. And the distortions associated with the situation would be mind reading, because I'm assuming I know what my supervisor is going to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And also catastrophizing,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm jumping to the worst conclusion. Realistically, I know, I'm not gonna fire. People don't get fired just, for doing one thing wrong, you get a warning and things like that. But it's still a little bit of a in the back of my mind. Um, and I guess I don't really know what I could do to reduce it. I mean, I try to keep myself busy. Um, I earlier today I was at the gym. I worked all day, then gym, then here. So my mind is busy and I'm not thinking about it too much. I guess another thing I could do is um reach back out to them like, hey, you haven't replied to me.
Mhm.
Like, what's going on? But at the same time, I'm like, no, if they forgot, I would rather not talk to them. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. So now I have to, I think they've asked us to like role play, or am I just needing, do we like talk about it, or I just like share my thing now?
I think we're like I don't know if role playing, but I guess we're supposed to give each other feedback on it.
Okay. Um, well, I find it interesting because I think you give yourself, or on a personal note of what I've seen already about you, you're really good about speaking positively to yourself. And so it's interesting how we can get in these places and go to the negative so quickly, right? When it becomes our personal situation. Um, I think feedback, I don't see any problem with you following up because it has been 10 days. I think it's one of those things where it's like ignorance is bliss, right? I'd rather just,
And just taking it one step at a time.
Mhm. I think that sounds good. I know you said like it's a little one. I think it's huge. I love lists. I think lists are great. And just what you said too of like in the stressful moment, writing it all down. And like I always think of it as like the visual of like literally removing like the spaghetti out of my head. Like instead of it being a mess, like putting it on the plate and straightening out the noodles.
Yeah,
And then
really
later
good visual.
coming back and saying, okay, now I can assign priority now that I'm not in my stress moment. And just assigning, like, okay, this is immovable. Like, my mom's visiting. This is happening this weekend, period.
Yeah,
This isn't moving. But these things have more flexibility. This is lower priority. So I think that's really good. And I would even add to, like, yeah, for sure, not everyone has it done. But even an additional, like, remind yourself, yes, it can feel like the spring is coming up really, really quick, but a lot can happen in 2 months.
yeah,
Like you have 2 months and a lot can happen. So just reminding yourself, even though it feels like it's coming quick, you also have more time. It's not just gonna disappear from you.
yeah.
So I think it sounds like a good plan. I totally get that. That is a very similar thought pattern that I get as well. And I have probably 40 billion lists written out in my house for a million different things, truly. So I like that plan.
I wish I was better at physically making a list. I like to think about lists and then I don't always make it, but I've
Mhm.
got better at making them.
Yeah, I've had to make, which I don't know. I don't know if this is a girl thing. I had to make them cutesy. Like I have literally two calendars sitting.
I think what happened?
I don't know.
It's a recording in progress. Oh, okay.
Okay. Right.
Well, that was kind of funny,
Yeah.
but overwhelming too. But I'm glad that you were able to tell yourself, something positive,
Yeah.
making you feel lighter.
Yeah, and I problem solved it. So yeah.
Well, my situation was with a car problem.
Hmm.
I was coming out of church, and then when I started, I turned on the ignition, it's just, skid on me. And
Mm.
here I go again. I was like, no, I was upset and frustrated because it's like, again, more car trouble when I had,
Yeah.
paid a great amount of money for it, for fixing it. A couple of months ago. And so I'm like, oh my goodness. And I don't even have any money to pay for it. So I was just, so besides angry, frustrated, I was worried.
I'm stressed.
Yeah, I was very stressed because I was like, what am I going to do without a car, Uh,
Hmm.
So yeah, my automatic thought was, why does this always happen to me? I can't catch a break. This is going to cost so much and ruin my week. My associated emotions were, of course, frustrated. I was anxious and
Hmm.
I felt helpless. Who doesn't without a car, right?
Yeah, especially in Houston.
Yeah. And then so my cognitive distortion were like I was what is it?
Catastrophizing, I think.
Yeah, there you go. Assuming the worst, possible outcome. Um, and there was also personalization, I think, where
Hmm.
the situation was unfairly targeted to me. Like, why me, right?
Hmm.
And then overgeneralization is thinking that car problems always happen to me. It's
Hmm.
terrible. Anyway, so I guess what is the next thing is evidence for, right? Against. They wanted us to.
Yeah.
Okay, this was just I've had car problems recently. Repairs have been expensive and stressful. So I was against not every time something goes wrong, it's a crisis. That's what, I was thinking about. My balanced thought was, car problems are frustrating, but I've managed them before. I can call a mechanic, get an estimate, and handle this one step at a time.
I've experienced now.
Yeah. And it's not the end of the world. And then I said
Mm.
a little prayer.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and my daughter goes, Mom, I'm not gonna leave you alone. Let me drive home with you. And
Yeah, you had to like chunk it out so that you can like,
so,
yeah.
and I feel much better, much safer with her because it was dark. And so luckily when I got off the freeway, we decided to go to Starbucks and we
Hmm.
crossed a couple of roads to my left to get on top of the driveway to a gas station. And that's when it started, jerking on me, the car, and it stalled on me and it stopped. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God. Was
Like,
this after you talked to yourself or
I
before?
talked to myself and everything, but you know what? I was calm. I was calm because it didn't happen on the road. Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
It
Was
happened,
your daughter with you?
and my daughter was with
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. That's good.
other daughter driving behind me. So I feel like, protected,
Yeah,
not alone at all, and
yeah,
I never was even grateful because I was like, thank you, Lord, because you know what? I'm out of harm's way. I'm in
yeah.
on a parking lot in a gas station with the
Hmm.
bright lights, being
Yeah. And it's a good thing that you thought about it that way because, maybe like God's trying to teach you something through these car situations, and then once you learn it, like you would have passed the car trouble level. And then you can go to another level.
yeah, I'm learning how to trust in him. I'm
Yeah.
gonna trust in him because before it was I would have really been a wrecking a nervous break. I would
Hmm.
have such a nerve wreck. But I'm learning how to reach out for help too. You know,
Yeah.
before I didn't. I thought I could do everything on my own, and I didn't want to bother nobody because I was like, everybody's busy.
Hmm.
Um, my both daughters were there with me. We called the towing company. We waited until 11:30, something like that, before he
Hmm.
arrived, and he took my car home, and we followed him in my other daughter's car, and
Yeah.
it was and he parked in my street in my car in my driveway, and then we parked right after him, and we didn't even pay anything because
You know, I had more difficulty with one-on-ones, but since I've been doing it for 3 years, I'm more comfortable with it. But when it comes to groups, I haven't had any practice, so that's definitely a lot more difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how much group I'm going to be doing because my end goal is college counseling. So I'd like to work actually at Houston Christian. So
Mm.
I did my undergrad there, so I have like a lot of connection there. And really like early adulthood span. So wait, 3 years.
Mhm.
So how are you able to, what is your undergrad in?
Well, my undergrad is unrelated. It's bio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Um, and then obviously some of these things that you're doing just requires not for you to have a master's
yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
So what did you do? What did you start doing 3 years ago?
So my undergrad was bio with a minor in psych.
Okay.
So I had some coursework, I guess, enough to where I applied as a so it's QMHP. The name is Qualified Mental Health Professional, but really you're more like a skills trainer, right? And
Mhm.
then I had to take a bunch of courses on like motivational interviewing.
Yeah, I think especially because like I would consider myself an overthinker. So if I have the time, space, and ability, I'm going to sit and obsess over this until I've convinced myself that it's solved, which it's not a situation that can be solved. So, and also my like in my particular job, I have like one partner that we do everything together as far as that scheduling stuff goes. And like me and her are really close. So if anything like that happens, normally, like we would sit and talk about it for forever too, which is helpful in one way, but then not helpful in my
Yeah.
needing to stop thinking about it way. So yeah, I think doing that, and I think, like you said, like writing it down would be really good for sure. I mean, I've always heard that works.
I
So
know coming from someone who isn't good at journaling, like on the regular, even though I know it's good for me.
yeah, like I said, maybe I just need to make it girly and cute. Like maybe I can doodle or something. Draw out me being angry at him instead of
That
writing
would
it.
be funny.
Hmm. Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's an often thing, but it's not necessarily all of the.
All right, so it seems like everybody's here already, right? Are we missing anyone? No. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. It's good to see all your faces again. You guys kind of let me in the limbo for a while, but it's okay. So take a second to settle back in. You can stretch, you can grab a sip of water, you could relax. It's okay, whatever you need. I know those conversations can bring up a lot, whether you choose to role play or just talk it through. Either way, thank you for giving an honest conversation and for being able to do it. And for more than anything, being open to do it, of course. I know it could feel a little awkward or it could get a little bit emotional, but that's part of the process. So I would love to hear from a few of you. If all of you, it would be awesome. But if it's only a few, that's good as well. How did it feel? What coping tools or ideas came up for you? Was there anything that surprised you about how you reacted or something you realized you might want to do a little bit different next time? Of course, it's up to you guys. As Jennifer mentioned at the beginning, it's popcorn sharing. So whoever wants to go first, just remember that this whole activity is about learning to catch those thoughts as they happen and finding better ways to respond instead of reacting. So I'll leave the floor open to you guys.
I can go first. Um, so Carissa mentioned something that is actually pretty obvious, I guess, looking back, but it wasn't an option for me. I didn't consider it. So she said, I've been waiting to hear back for 10 days. Why don't I just reach back out and say, hey, um, let's talk. But I guess to me, I've been trying to avoid it. Like if they forgot, I would rather just not bring it up, leave it in the past, right? But it's still bringing me stress and anxiety. So I think that would be a good option.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like you take the power back, right? So instead of like leaving it to your thoughts, it's like I'm gonna do something about it. So it sounds like a good idea. Anyone else?
I can go next. Um, so the whole thing was, getting stressed about so many things happening. I felt like all at once, bunch of weight on my shoulders. Just because of that, I would stress out, even not in the moment of like all those things happening, but like later, and then call myself lazy. And so the idea Maddie and I came up with was just, I mean, it's pretty simple, but just making a list. Just making an easy list of all the things I have to do, and then taking that, ranking them in priority of like what I need to do first, and then just focusing on one thing at a time, trying not to worry about everything else and just going one by one.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like sometimes our brain, when it sees this written down, like and it sees it in like a list, it's easier to process everything that's going on, especially because like, look, I'm a mess. I like to think that I'm a mess because usually I have everything like all scattered around. But when I organize myself and I write things down, it's easier for my brain and for me to process it. So it makes things that are small look, well, things that are big look a little bit smaller and more digestible.
As Maddie said, it's like untangling a thing of spaghetti.
Mhm. Yeah, you're right. I like that. I like that. So, anyone else, guys?
I think we're left right, Cass. Me and Tess were just like talking about our situations. And so we were both looking at the positive side of our situations, and we were just, capturing those positive thoughts and replaying them uh, as we, throughout the situation. So as she was talking about her situation and how she was looking at the uh, missing out, right? On meeting, not being able to meet a deadline. She was able to reach out to someone to help her, and she was able to provide all that information just in time. And she was, talking about how, she was able to manage it at the end. She was able to, ace it anyway. And so she was just, talking herself into saying positive things about herself to make her feel better and lighter in her situation. Yeah. So it was kind of funny at the end.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because sometimes when life gets stressful and like we have deadlines, we're always thinking negative, right? We're always like, no, I'm not gonna be able to do it, or I can't. But if we talk positive, like I feel like we could be like, okay, I got this. Like we kind of bring ourselves up instead of down. So that's a good coping strategy.
Mm.
Anyone else?
I can go. We were talking about just in general, like just kind of similar to what I already said about like workplace conflict stuff. And I was talking about the need to make myself create some distance so that I can have like actual reflection and not just reaction and response. And then Matthew mentioned like, oh, like, you could try adding like journaling to that to provide a more fruitful reflection instead of just, bringing yourself back to the unhelpful thought patterns. So that was good.
So both of you guys were like, write it down, right? That's awesome. That's cool. I mean, it's a different perspective, and it's kind of cool that Maddie helped out Matthew and then Matthew helped out Maddie because both of you guys were like in kind of similar situations, but you guys use good coping strategies and kind of similar too. So that's awesome. So anyone else? If not, it's fine.
I'm just gonna say that me and Ruth were kind of talking about how like, just looking for like the icing on the cake, like the silver lining in like a situation. So I think like I was telling Ruth, because she was talking about her car problems, and I said, I can't remember what I said exactly, but I said something along the lines of, once you, once you get through your car problems, you'll level up to another level. What did I say? I don't remember what I said, but I said something like that, and I thought that was funny when I thought about it later.
Mm.
Makes sense. I mean, you get over one situation and then you have the patience for that situation, and then you have the patience for a bigger situation, right? So you're right.
Well, good. I think that's everyone. Is there anyone that I'm missing that wanted to share?
I'll go, I'll just say quickly. Then I was just sharing about my week and this course that I'm taking. It's very research based, and it's very left brain, and I'm very right brain.
Mm.
And so I told Edgar that it makes me feel very dumb sometimes because I'm like, it's just like, wow, my brain, right? And but it's very necessary to do to this class. And then he encouraged me and said that this is just bringing you out of your comfort zone, and you can grow through that. Don't see it as a weakness. So I thought it was really, really encouraging. And I feel all better now.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, sometimes just like a shift in mindset can get you going and thinking of things in a different way. Because you're right, it is challenging you. But good. So first, I really just want to thank everybody for sharing today. I know that it can be really difficult to share, and I'm glad that you guys were able to do so. And thank you for just being raw and honest about, situations that you're going through. So just before we close up, I'm gonna pull up some of the homework that we have for you guys. Um, and I will leave it up here for a second. Alrighty. Try to make it smaller. Okay. Hmm. This is a rather large page. One second, guys. Okay. So this is your homework. So you're gonna pick one preventative strategy that you want to focus on this week. So write down 3 small, realistic steps that will help you follow through. Practice these steps during the week and just be ready to share how it went the next session. So that being said, I just wanted to give you guys a little example. That way you kind of know what to do. So you're gonna look for something that can help you preventatively. So, yes, we have methods that in the moment can help us, but we want to make sure that our mindset is good beforehand. That way, when something troublesome comes our way, we already have like a solid foundation to go on. So for example, so if a goal of mine was to manage stress through mindfulness, 3 steps that I can take, that way I have a good foundation for that is one, spend 5 minutes in prayer, or breathing exercises in the morning. Secondly, could be to pause and check my thoughts when I walk out the door. Sometimes we wake up in a grouchy mood, and so it's good to notice that before you walk out the door, so you know what your mindset is and you know what to look out for. That way, if you're being reactive or if you're just being, maybe something actually is upsetting you and you need to face that in the moment. But it's always good to know what you're carrying with you throughout the day. And then third, maybe take a short walk after work would help me to clear my head, be alone with your thoughts, just reflect on the day before, it's a very good way for you to be able to practice mindfulness, also separating work from home life. And then separating those can kind of help you separate them and managing the emotions that come from each one. So that is going to be your homework. Hopefully you guys are understanding that. If you guys have any questions, like feel free to popcorn right now and let me know. Um, no questions. Yay. Good. I'm glad. But again, just thank you so much for showing up today and being real. So what you're practicing here isn't just for the group. So really, it's something that you can carry with you even after our sessions do eventually come to an end. This is going to prepare you for going out there and just living your life day to day and give you some of those tools that you can prepare yourself for. Um, but overall, just I'm really proud of all of the work that all of you have been putting in, and for just again being raw and real and even helping each other out. Like, I really like that untangling spaghetti. I don't know what it's called, but I like that. That was actually really that it paints a picture in your head. Even with the drawings that we drew, like it really helps you understand, like, hey, putting it into a cute little drawing can help me realize I can pick this apart and make it my own drawing. But again, thank you all so much for showing up and just being a part of this group. It means a lot, and I hope that you all have a calm and peaceful week ahead of you. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next week. Bye.